Hello, and thank you for joining us for Storytime with Chione at the Arrowhead Library System. The Chione Quintet is a wind quintet made up of 5 different wind instruments. They are the flute, the oboe, the clarinet, the French horn, and the bassoon. We're called a wind quintet because we use our wind, or our breath, to make sound. We've been telling musical stories together for 4 years, and we're excited to tell you the stories of some different animals in the piece Carnival of the Animals. First, we're going to tell you the stories of our instruments, though. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Bethany and I play the flute. Here's what it sounds like. So the way you make sound on the flute is that you blow air across the top of this hole. Some of the air goes inside of the instrument and some of it goes across the top, and it makes the instrument vibrate to make sound. You could do something kind of similar if you blow across the top of a bottle. So you can change the pitch or how high or low the sounds are in 2 different ways. One of them is that you can change how many keys you're covering. The more keys you cover, the longer the pipe gets, and therefore the lower the sound goes. You can also change the sound by changing the way that your lips channel the air across the instrument. So check this out. I'm going to hold my fingers completely still this time, but just by changing the shape of my lips, I will change the pitch and play a lot of different notes. So between those 2 things, you can get a lot of different sounds on the flute and play many beautiful melodies. One interesting thing about the flute is that although it's in the woodwind instrument family, it's usually made out of metal. However, most of its ancestors were made out of wood, so that's why it's called a woodwind instrument. Also, there's a smaller and higher member of the flute family called the piccolo, and often the piccolo is still made out of a combination of wood and metal. Here's what the piccolo sounds like. So that is the piccolo and the flute. Now let's meet the other members of the woodwind quintet.
Hi, my name is Susan and I am the oboist with the Chione Quintet. I play this instrument, which is called the oboe. Can you say oboe? Nice job. So the fun and interesting thing about my instrument is it's double reed right here at the top. So I can actually pull this off. I made this myself, and it is 2 pieces of cane or something that looks a little bit like bamboo, and they're put together and tied together with string, and that's what makes my double reed here. And this is what it sounds like. Isn't that kind of a goofy sound? So, do you think I can actually play my oboe without the reed in it? Let me give it a shot. Well, nothing comes out of it. Let's see what happens when I put the reed in. Holy cow! Let's see, the oboe can play a couple different ways. One is a very beautiful melodic sound. The oboe can also play very fast and technically like this. And that's the oboe.
My name is Whaley, and I play the clarinet. Can you say clarinet? Great! This is what the clarinet sounds like. The way I create sound on my instrument is by blowing air on my mouthpiece with a reed attached to it. The reed is a really thin piece of wood, and when I blow on it, it wiggles really fast back and forth in the air to create sound. Now the reed on the mouthpiece itself sounds like this. Pretty goofy, huh? But when I put my mouthpiece on my instrument, it changes the sound. Now when I put more finger sound on my instrument gets longer and creates lower sounds. But when I lift my fingers up, air escapes out of the holes and my instrument gets shorter to create higher sounds. And that's the clarinet.
Hi, my name is Allison, and I play this instrument. Do you know what this is called? That's right, it's called the French horn. And what do you think this is made out of? Can you hear that? That's right, it's made out of metal. That means that the French horn is actually a member of the brass family. Now, we talked about how all of us use our wind or our breath to make sound. So let me try that. Let me just use my air, my wind, my breath to make some sound. Here goes. It didn't work. There was no sound. So for sound to happen, we need this thing called vibration, which is like a quick shaking or a tremoring, like when you're really cold and your teeth are chattering. That's kind of a vibration. And the way that I make a vibration is by buzzing my lips like this. And then I can buzz just into this thing right here. This is called a mouthpiece, and it sounds like this. It's kind of a silly sound. But I can put my mouthpiece in the horn, and my air, it goes around and around and around through all of these tubes, and it comes out this end, which is called the bell, because it looks kind of like a bell. And it sounds like this. And that's the French horn.
Hi, my name is Allie, and I play this really big instrument here. This is called the bassoon. Can you all say that with me? Bassoon. Very good. As you can see, the bassoon is the largest instrument in the woodwind quintet, and that means that I'm usually the one who plays the lowest notes in our group. The bassoon and oboe are similar because they are both members of the double reed family. So like Susan, I too play on a double reed that I made myself. A double reed is two pieces of cane tied tightly together, and it forms a sort of mouthpiece. To make sound on the bassoon, I blow air through my double reed, and my air causes the two pieces of cane to vibrate against each other. When I just play on the reed, it sounds like this, which is kind of a silly sound. If I don't use my reed, I don't have anything that can vibrate. So if I just blow air through my instrument, it doesn't really make any music. It just sounds like air. But when I take my double reed and I put it on my bassoon, then I'm able to make vibrations and able to play my low sounds. And it sounds like this. I'm also able to play higher sounds, though not quite as high as the flute. met all the instruments in the Wood Quintet, we're going to share with you our first musical story. It is called Fossils from the Carnival of the Animals by Camille Saint-Saens. What exactly are fossils? They are the preserved remains of ancient creatures in rock, like dinosaur bones. Now, if you think about it, dinosaur bones don't really make any sound, right? They're just stuck in the rocks. But there are scientists who use small hand tools like hammers and chisels to carefully cut away the rock from around the bones so they can get the bones out. What kind of sounds do you think the scientists will make with those hammers? Do you think they'll be using really big motions, boom, 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 like that to get the rock away from the bones? No, I don't think so. Like I said, they have to be really careful. So they'll be using small, quick, light hand motions to carefully cut the rock away from the bones. Now that sound, that chiseling sound, will be represented in fossils by the higher instruments of the woodwind quintet, including the flute, oboe, and clarinet. And you'll be able to hear this quick, light rhythm sound, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, throughout the movement that imitates the sound of the chiseling. So we hope you enjoy Fossils.
The next movement we're going to play is called Elephant. Now I want you to think for a second about what an elephant looks like. He's really big, right? Now how does an elephant move as he goes through the jungle or across the plains? Can you think about that for a second? What do you think? Does he run really fast? No, an elephant moves really slowly, lumbering. Really slow. And so in this movement called Elephant, you can hear that represented musically. And the way you'll hear it is our notes will change more slowly. So the pitches will change and just the movement of each note happens much more slowly. So listen really carefully for that. Now one other thing, what does the voice of an elephant sound like? What do you think? Is it really high? Is it really high way up here, like a flute? No, it's really low because again, an elephant is really big. So you'll hear that in this movement as well. The bassoon and the horn, you'll hear a lot and they'll play way lower in the register to represent the elephant's low voice. So listen to that really carefully and we hope you enjoy Elephant.
Now that you've heard us play our 2 musical selections, let's review a little bit what we heard. In fossils, remember, we heard the flute, oboe, and clarinet playing those really quick and light sounds that imitate the sound of hammers carving away the rock from the fossils, the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta kind of sound. While in elephant, we heard the bassoon and the horn playing the low, stompy, slow sounds that an elephant would make. So we hope you enjoyed these 2 selections from Carnival of the Animals by Camille Saint-Saens.